Now then, crew, and welcome back to the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel and another video in the series of EFI Diagnostics, just basic stuff. In this particular case, we're using a 2019 TRX 500, and in this video I'm going to cover very quickly how to do power and ground checks to the ECU. The ECU needs good power supply and good strong grounds, good earths. Otherwise it can corrupt various signals from the sensors and flag fault codes which realistically are not really applicable. So always check your powers and grounds first, and this is how you do it. Roll the intro. Used. Honestly. Okay, so the first job is to identify where the powers and grounds, which wires amongst the massive wires at the ECU are positive 12 volt feeds and which ones are grounding wires, the negative side of the circuit. For me, I always look at a service manual, that way it's conclusive. So let's take a look. Okay, so on the wiring diagram, this is an FM6 model, so we're on the correct diagram. Important that you get the correct wiring diagram, otherwise you can have problems. Looking around the ECU, we've got a power feed coming in here, look, black with a red tracer. If you follow that wire back there, it goes up to the ignition switch, ignition fuse. So we know that that's a 12 volt feed. And that is connection B1, terminal B1 on the plugs at the ECU. So if we scroll down, Honda are very good to us. They give us a pinout for the ECU plugs. There's 3 plugs, and B1 here is top left of that plug there. So we should be able to find that pretty easy. We know the color code of the wire. As regards grounds, we've got B13, B21, B10 and C5. So we'll find all of those on that same plug, and C5 is on a larger plug but with much smaller, a much smaller number of terminals, and there's C5 bottom right. Perfect. We've got the information we need. We can now go and do the testing. Now you'll need some equipment, although it's reasonably basic to do these tests. A multimeter, very useful. If you haven't got one of those, then just an old bulb holder with like a 21 watt bulb in there. Something of a reasonable wattage, not a great big headlight halogen bulb, you don't want to use that. But we do need the wires to carry a bit of current to demonstrate they're in good condition. And the other one that you need, or ideally, you're going to need some what I call back probe pins. Now that's from my Pico, very useful. It's seen better days. I need to replace the pin again, it's going to break off soon. Or you can go and raid your mum or your wife's sewing kit, and in there you'll find some little tiny pins. That's all you need, just one of those. Don't lose it. She'll want it back, no doubt, after it's all bent up. Okay. Once you've found the equipment, you can then proceed and we can do the checks. Let's head over to the bike and find that power supply to the ECU. So the first thing we should do is disconnect the ECU from the wiring harness, and that's going to help. We don't want to be putting any current into the ECU. That could cause damage, and you know they're expensive. I know this one's faulty anyway, but you know, even so, you don't want to damage your ECU. So we'll unplug that, put it somewhere safe so it can't fall on the ground. And we want B1. Now B is this grey plug on this particular bike, and it was a top corner. There we go, look. So that little tiny insignificant wire there, black with a red tracer, powers the whole ECU. Who would have thought? Without the wiring diagram, you'd never have guessed that. You'd have tried to go for a much bigger wire. Okay, we're going to get that back probe pin. We'll back probe into here, and then we'll see if we can get a voltage. Okay, I always lick the pin before I put it in. That's just a habit. It helps it to go through the rubber grommet. There's a little tiny seal in there. So we'll see if we can get all the way down. Just got to take your time because you got to get past all the little crimps and stuff. There we go, look. Okay, now we need the multimeter. So we'll set the multimeter on 20 volts. I've already connected the ground side of the multimeter, the black lead, to battery negative. I'm just going to hold that meter there for you. And we'll get the positive lead away. Turn the ignition on. And we should get 12 volts on there, look. There we go. 12 volts, 0.04. And dropping, because of course the battery isn't being charged at the moment, it's discharging. Cool, okay. Ignition off. So that tells us we are seeing a voltage. We don't know if that wire, that power feed wire, can actually provide any kind of current. So we need to load test it. And to do that, we're going to use a test light. Okay, this is just from a tail light, a brake tail light combination. Is this this test light that I've got? It's super useful. So we'll stick him on there so you can see the bulb somewhere. Maybe under there. Look, is that going to work? There you go. Look, and then we can connect that up ready and turn the ignition on. And that bulb should light nice and bright, so that it's, at 21 watts, it's almost pulling 2 amps of current through that little wire. We don't want to use a headlight bulb because that would really put too much load on such a small wire, but I think that's about right. Okay, you ready? Ignition on. And that is super bright. Now, while it's illuminated, it's a good idea to give the wiring harness a bit of a wiggle all the way back to the fuse box. And if the bulb flickers or goes out at any time, it tells you you've got an intermittent break somewhere in that wiring. If the bulb doesn't illuminate, well, you've just found the fault. There is no power feed to your ECU, so you need to go back and check that out. Follow the wiring back, go to the fuse, check the fuse contacts. You may have a corroded fuse or something like that. So remember, these tests that we're doing are there to identify if there's an issue with a particular part of the wiring harness, in this case the power feed to the ECU. Now, you may have multiple power feeds to the ECU and you've got to test each one individually, but if the bulb that you're using, your test light, is dull or it doesn't illuminate, then it's a clear sign that you have no power feed on that particular wire, and you'll have to then start a diagnostic process to work backwards down the loom towards the fuse holder and ultimately the battery to see what's going on. You may even have a bad connection at the battery, who knows. So let's move on now to those 4 grounds, and in this particular case I'm going to move the test light from battery negative to battery positive, and then we can do the same process on the 4 earths. Here we go. Right, said Fred. So we can remove our back probe. That was B1 for the power feed, and the first ground we want to do is B10. Now there's 11 wires on this row, so B10 is the second one in from this end. So we can pop that in there. Again, just take your time, because otherwise you don't want to cause any damage to your plug and your wiring and stuff. There we go. We are in. You'll feel it, just want to go in when it's ready. Now in this case we don't need to turn the ignition on. This wire goes directly to ground, doesn't go via any switch gear. So we get our test light. We'll do a quick test. I'll just put it to ground on the frame. Test light is working, and we will pop that straight on there. There we go, look. And again, nice and bright. It doesn't seem to be quite as bright as we did the power feed, but that is still very bright. That's excellent. We can also do a voltage check just to see what we're reading. So we'll disconnect that, grab our multimeter, 20 volts. Now don't forget, this time this is the negative side of the circuit, so we want the earth wire in there, and then we can pop this onto battery positive, and we've got 12.65. We've just identified an issue with the power feed. The black with the red tracer. There was a good half volt drop on that, wasn't there? Interesting. Okay, I'll investigate that further. Right, moving on, we want B13. So we're looking for another green wire. It's going to be on the second row now because it's B11. And then B13 should be, yes, that one down there. Look, next to the yellow with a red tracer. Bit awkward to get to, but that's ECUs for you. Okay, we're going in. Oh, straight in, look at that. Okay, so we've got our test light, quick check. Boom, boom, we're good to go. Pop them in there. Hey up, nothing. Maybe we're not contacted properly on the pin. Let's just try the back probe again with it connected. Okay, we're going to have to go in maybe from the other side. This can happen. You've got to have patience. Double check. And it's very important you make sure you're on the right pin. You don't want to be back feeding a voltage somewhere it doesn't want to go. I think we're in the right one. Yes. In you go, buddy. Right, let's try that again. Still nothing. Okay, so what we can do, because the angle's a bit weird on the middle row, we can go in at the front. Now we're going to be very, very careful we don't damage the pin, the female connector inside here. Now this back probe is pretty small, so we should be okay. It's a similar size to what's in the ECU, to be fair. So I'm going to pop that in there. Only a small distance, not going to go all the way in. And then we can connect that. There we go, look. Bulb is nice and bright. Perfect. So that one is a pass. Now, a word of warning, it is frowned upon to front probe. It can be done. Sometimes you have to do it. You don't have much of a choice. In this particular case, I could have persevered for longer to try and get a good connection from the back side of the plug. But for demonstration purposes, I went in from the front. But if you do, you only want to go in just far enough to get a contact. You don't want to ram this all the way in like I was doing from the back, because you can cause some damage to the female connector inside there. And they're very hard to fix. Everything's so damn small. Okay, so that one's a pass. We've now got B21. So B21 will be on the middle row as well. And I think that's that one there, look, because there'll be 11 there, 22 on this one. So we're the penultimate one down here. Let's see if we can get the probe in there, look. Much easier to see what you're doing because the wire adjacent is now missing. We're right at the end of the row, which is good. But doesn't want to go in, but we'll keep going. There we go. That's it. Right, so let's see what we get. So, test light going on. Oh, yes, nice and bright again. Now, whilst we're doing this particular one, let's do another voltage reading. I was a little bit concerned about the reading we got earlier on, sort of highlighting the fact we may have an issue with the power feed to the ECU. Like I say, I'll have to investigate that further. Okay, so multimeter's on battery positive. We're going to go in there. Oh, you want to see, don't you? Hang on a second. Right, so we'll pop that in there. I can hold that with one hand. Right, going on to battery positive now. Oh yeah, 12.71. That's a good reading, is that? Let's just see what the battery voltage is across the terminals. It's working around the camera. Right, there we go. So battery negative, battery positive. What do we get? Well, we get more than that. 12.74. Okay, so that is battery voltage. That was a really, really good connection on that last one we checked. Okay, we've got one more to check, and that is on this large plug. Now, this has actually only got 2 wires. Bit of a waste, but it's all right. And we want the green wire here, so C5 connection. So we will back probe in, just because it's the right thing to do. I think we're in. Okay. And our test light. There you go. Nice and bright. So that's another good ground there. Let's just check the voltage. It doesn't matter which way around you do it, whether you do voltage first and then do your load test with your bulb. Right, going on to battery positive. Yes, that's an excellent ground. So there you go, some pretty simple tests to carry out, but very, very important ones to do before you really embark on a detailed diagnostic to try and find out why you've got fault codes. You only need simple equipment, you know, multimeter. They're not expensive, just the cheap ones are fine. And a test light bulb. I'm pretty sure you've got one of these kicking around your workshop. But in this particular case, we've highlighted a fault with the power feed to the ECU, something which I need to investigate further. I did off camera connect the test light bulb again to the positive black wire with the red tracer, but also piggybacked on the multimeter to see the voltage dropping down, to see what voltage we're getting under load. And we were down to 11.7 volts and it was still falling, which is a major concern to see a whole 1 volt drop in the power feed to the ECU. Clearly something's not quite right, so I will investigate that further and no doubt let the lads know on the live stream what I find. Yes, I've already made the call on an ECU. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay. Anyway, hopefully you found this video helpful and informative. If you did, then why not think about subscribing to the channel, turn on notifications, ring the bell, and YouTube will let you know when any new videos hit the channel. You'll also find me on Patreon, and if you want to donate, you can do that through Patreon or PayPal. Just just use the email address at the bottom of the screen now if it's PayPal. Please don't send it as a donation. I can't receive donations through PayPal, only payments, please. You'll also find me on Facebook and Instagram too, so you can follow along on those platforms as to what we get up to in the workshop. There isn't always a video covering everything that we do. There's loads of other stuff that we don't film. Okay, crew, well, until next time, and don't forget there are lots more videos in this series, and we're going to move across now to testing individual sensors on this particular bike, so you've got an idea how to do the various checks on each sensor and each actuator in this series. I'll see you next time. Cheers, over and out. And we get the